I am Alexia Frolen Boris Advincula of AP11, and the topic that I have chosen to discuss is all about the material self. So what is material self? According to William James, material self is sum total of all he calls his, not only his body's psychic powers, but his clothes and his house, his wife and children, his ancestors and friends, his reputation and works, his land, his yacht, and bank account. All these things gives him the same emotions. If they wax and prosper, he feels triumphant. If they dwindle and die away, he feels cast down, not necessarily in the same degree for each thing, but in much the same way for all. In the first line, it pertains to the objects, places, or even people that have the label mind. So, such possessions viewed are extensions of individuals' identities. And for the last part, wherein he mentioned, if they wax and prosper, he feels triumphant. If they dwindle and die away, he feels cast down. Not necessarily in the same degree for each thing, but in much the same way for all. So, what does he really mean by this? For example, if I lost my lip tint, I will feel sad. But when I lost my phone, I will be even more depressed. So, to simplify it, in both cases, you feel something, but in different levels. So, when we talk about our material self, we basically talk about our possessions. And based on that, I guess we are all familiar with the well-known quote, "We are what we have." Kung ano ang meron tayo, kung ano ang binili natin, kung ano yung gamit natin, it can describe of who we are. In terms of material self, it is composed of 4 things with different layers. On the outermost layer, we have our home. And then, the next inner part is our immediate family. The next is clothes. And the most inner part is the body. So, let me first start by discussing the innermost part of our material self. And that is the body. So, intentionally, we invest in our bodies. Why? Well, we are directly attached to this commodity that we cannot live without. We don't exist unless we have a body. As a result, we have a tendency to invest in our bodies. We strive to make sure that this body functions well. Any ailment or disorder directly affects us. We do have a certain preferential attachment to or intimate closeness to certain parts because of their value to us. So, each one of us has a favorite part of our own body. Some people, for example, value their vocal cords more than any other parts of their body because it is their source of income. Examples of these are the singers, actors, actresses, and so on. And next is immediate family. Our family is likely to shape and influence the development of our self-identity because they are the first person we got to socialize with. We learned a lot from our family, such as the basics and what we should prioritize in life. So these are the first lessons we learned within the family. Our immediate family contains a significant portion of ourselves, and what they do or become affects us. When we see our immediate family as the closest replica of ourselves, we invest heavily in them. For example, if you have a sister who got pregnant at an early age, especially here in the Philippines, where chismosas and chismosos are plentiful. They'll ask you questions like, di ba kapatid mo yung nabuntis? Because we are usually associated with our family. When an immediate family member dies, part of ourselves dies as well. When their lives are successful, we feel victorious as if we are the ones holding the trophy. We are embarrassed or guilt as a result of their failure. When they are in a disadvantageous situation, there is an urgent urge to help. So, when we know that our family is in trouble, we always help them immediately. Pets can also be used to symbolically define a person's identity, and they are considered as immediate family. And next is home. The heart is where the home is. So it's the earliest nest of our selfhood. Our experiences inside the home were recorded and marked on particular parts, things in our home. So yes, the home is thus an extension of oneself, because in it, we can directly connect with ourselves.
And next are the clothes. The style and brand of clothes take on a symbolic significance. The fabric and style of clothes you wear bring sensation to the body and can affect our attitude and behavior. The type of fabric, brand, and style you prefer describes who we are. So, aside from that, the material components of the self under the category of clothes can include books, beds, money, cars, houses, and other things that a person can call his own. Clothing is a form of self-expression. We choose and wear clothes that reflect our personalities and characteristics. And even the color reflects our personality. So, our clothes are expression of who we are. Are we content? Sad? For example, you lose someone who is close to you. You wear black at his or her funeral.
So that is all for the layers of the material self. Let us now move on to the effects of material possessions. So how do material possessions affect us? So, regardless of how much or how little the possessions people have, they are interested in material possessions. Whether we admit it or not, we are interested in material possessions. In some cases, we really need things such as foods, shelters, clothes, and etc. Also, possessions can be used as status symbols. Cars, houses, gadgets, and clothes are the most valuable because they are the most visible to others. People who can afford it sometimes purchase very expensive items. The downside is that some people actually buy things they cannot afford using debit cards, which they cannot even pay for. Some people want updated cell phones such as iPhone 14. So our material selves really have effects on our self-worth. The more expensive it is, the more other people are impressed. However, lack or loss of material possessions can be disruptive to other people or can be disruptive to the mental health of some people. For example, if you broke your phone, you will be, probably some people will be depressed or stressed out. And in some cases, when his or her house burned down, they got depressed because they had to start all over again. And yes, they lost the things they had worked hard for. So, it can really affect our mental health. And next is Materialism. The importance people place on material possessions is sometimes not good. The negative effect of the strong desire for material possessions is materialism. Materialism is how we give importance to the materials that surrounds us. So, that is the negative effect of materialism. Ika nga, anything in excess is not good. So, when we put too much value on material possession, that is materialism. And next is materialistic person. A materialistic person is someone with a high level of materialism. They are excessively concerned with the acquisition of material possessions. And lastly, the compulsive buying disorder or CBD. Compulsive buying disorder or CBD is a psychological dysfunction or impairment in functioning caused by an obsession with shopping and buying behaviors that results in negative consequences. Example of that is utang or debt. Lack or loss of material possessions could lead to anxiety, insecurity, or depression. Thus, when a person is about to make purchase, he or she should ask him or herself a very important question. The question is, which among your possessions describe or reflect of who you are and why? Well, the possessions that describes or reflect of who I am is my family, because they are the ones that really matter to me. They are my replica, not just because they are the person who I got to socialize with, but their blood runs through me. And I love them so much more than my life. I cannot afford to lose them and would probably do anything for them, even if it meant losing everything for myself.